Hi everyone, today we have Group Captain Puneet Sharma sir with us. Sir was Senior GTO at 1 AFSB Dehradun and 4 AFSB Varanasi. Sir has given a lot of recommendation and this video is going to be helpful for all the defense aspirants. So watch the video till end and I'm sure आप बहुत कुछ सीख के जाएंगे इस वीडियो से. So enjoy the video.
Hello everyone, my name is Priyanshu Tomar and I welcome you all on a fresh new episode of SSB Decoded. And today I have a very special guest with me. Special इसलिए क्योंकि till now I have hosted a lot of recommended candidates and this is for the very first time that I am hosting a assessor. He is the man behind a lot of recommendation. If I go on checking the list, so the list is very long. So let's welcome him and most of you might have got me right. Today I have ex-senior GTO, Group Captain Puneet Sharma sir. Sir, thank you so much for coming and it's an honor hosting you, sir.
Thank you very much, Priyanshu. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you all.
Sir, मैंने कभी सोचा नहीं था कि मुझे मौका मिलेगा आपके साथ बात करने का because GTO के साथ मेरा experience जो रह चुका है वो ये था कि I have always been at the receiving end of the questions and today I am the one who is asking you questions. I have a lot of questions जो मेरे दोस्तों ने कुछ candidates ने पूछे हैं. So let's take them all. So first सबसे पहले तो आप अपने Airforce के करियर के बारे में अपने GTO के करियर के बारे में थोड़ा अपने viewers को बता दीजिए.
See, Priyanshu, I am basically an engineer, basically an electronics and communication engineer from NIT Kurukshetra, and I joined Indian Air Force in the year 1988, and I was recommended in my first attempt from 1 AFSB Dehradun. This journey has been long. In the year 2018, I took premature separation from service and then came home. So in the year 2010, I got an opportunity to undergo a course at DIPR on group testing technique. So after completing the course and the practical training, I was posted to number 1 Air Force Selection Board, where I served initially as a normal GTO and later part of my tenure here, I was a senior GTO. From here I went on posting to number 4 Air Force Selection Board, that is Varanasi, where I was a senior GTO for almost about 2.5 years. And as I mentioned, in the year 2018, I took premature separation and came home. It is somewhere in the middle of 2019, we started small scale classes for, classes on a small scale for SSB aspirants. And rest is history now.
Yeah, of course. By the way, I'll just tell you, sir has classes in Dehradun by the name SSB OGC. And everyone in Dehradun who is preparing for defense examination, everyone knows sir. And not only just in Dehradun, sir is just famous everywhere. You know, wherever I go to SSBs, I talk about people and I talk to them, so they just know that okay, you came from there or you are a student of them. So everyone knows about sir. So sir, how has your life been different? Like you were in first in Air Force, you have served a long time in Air Force. So उसके बाद जो retirement का civilians के साथ रहना, how was that?
There's not much of difference because while we were in Forge, because Forges generally have good adaptability. Wherever they go, they find themselves comfortable, right? Same was the case with me. I went to Forge, enjoyed my tenure, visiting different places, meeting different people. But when I came home, I was mentally prepared that I may not be getting the same kind of people to interact with. But then the opportunity fell in my lap and I started interacting with these defense aspirants who are more or less of the same mindset as the people in Forge are. So it was no different. In fact, it is more fun, more satisfying that you are interacting with youngsters and trying to hold their hand in their journey to get recommendation. It's a very satisfying job.
Of course, and that too you have given a lot of recommendation तो फिर आप फौज का हिस्सा ऐसे ही बन चुके हो अभी भी.
In fact, the credit for these recommendations goes to the candidates because there are candidates who are very focused, very attentive, very serious about their career. And there are people who are not so serious. So it depends more on the candidate. How is he taking the teachings which we are imparting him, right? That is it.
So, sir, what is SSB actually looking for? Are these the
See, SSB is a test of your personality. It is not a test of your knowledge or skills. Why it is the test of your personality? The reason is we are selecting you to perform the role of a military leader in future. And the role which a military leader performs or the responsibilities which he shoulders are unique. That kind of role is generally not performed by anybody in the civil sector or in government sector or any other sector for that matter. To make you perfect to perform this role, the Forge will be imparting you training, and this specialized training will be imparted to you in the training academy. So when you come to the SSB, what we see is this candidate trainable? It means, is he the right input material whom if I induct into the training curriculum, my training will be able to mold him and transform him into that commissioned officer whom we want in the active service life. Now that commissioned officer has to have certain qualities to execute the role which has been assigned to him. Now these qualities we will be checking in the candidate when he comes to the SSB. What exactly is the level of these qualities present in the candidate, and will my training be able to lift the level of these qualities which is present in the candidate right now to the desired level. So basically what we are checking in the SSB is your trainability. Your personality is checked with one perspective, whether you are a trainable candidate or not a trainable candidate. Now two questions which remain unanswered is, what exactly is my personality, and how do the SSB board decides whether I am trainable, hence recommendable, or I am not trainable, hence not recommendable. So my personality is something which is somewhere deep rooted in my subconscious, and this subconscious has formed through the inputs which I have given to my system through various sensory organs that I have. So what I heard, what I saw, what I read, what I spoke, everything has got stored in my subconscious, and this is my subconscious which is the locus of control of my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, my words which I speak, as well as my actions. So that is why we say that personality is something which gets manifested in three forms: manasa, vacha, karmana. What you think, what you feel, how good is your emotions, everything is part of your man. And vachan is what you speak about yourself, about your family, about your friends, about the world around you, as well as about your future aspirations. And the karma is what you do to deal with practical problems that you encounter in your day-to-day life. So that is why when we say SSB is a test of personality, we adopt three-pronged approach to check your personality. Man will be checked by the psychologist, vachan will be checked by the interviewing officer who will interact with you on one-to-one basis for almost about an hour or so. And karma will be checked by the GTO who will make you part of the group and give your entire group different practical tasks to do. And he'll keep observing your behavior. Just by observing your behavior, he will be able to make out what exactly is the kind of person you are. And the next question is, after assessing my personality, how do the assessors decide whether I am recommendable, trainable, or not trainable, hence not recommendable? So the answer to this question is that a person who is having a balanced personality is highly trainable. यानी कि वह व्यक्ति जिसकी कथनी और करनी में फर्क नहीं है, करनी और सोच में फर्क नहीं है, सोच और कथनी में फर्क नहीं है. A very transparent kind of a person who is not a manipulator. Such people are highly trainable. So what happens in the SSB on the last day? All the three assessors who have done your assessment using their own technique will sit together and discuss your personality. And there they find that the inference drawn by the one particular assessor is matching with the inference drawn by other two assessors as well. It means चाहे आप इसके मन में झांकिए, चाहे आप इसके कर्मों को देखिए, चाहे आप इसके वचन को सुनिए, ये व्यक्ति वही नजर आता है जो ये है. It means this candidate is having a balanced personality, hence he is a trainable person, hence recommendable. Another important aspect what we see is the absence of negativity in the candidate. Because my personality is not the sum total of my good qualities minus the sum total of my bad qualities. If the end result is good, I am good. No. My personality is something which is a complex integration of various qualities which I possess. And out of these, even if one quality becomes negative, my entire personality gets multiplied by 0 and end result is 0. So you have to be absolute free of negativities, and at the same time there has to be a congruence between your man, vachan and karma. Your personality has to be a balanced personality. There has to be some sort of a sync between man, vachan and karma. So this is the rationale behind the entire SSB selection process.
सर एक क्वेश्चन जो मेरे मन में है, मुझे लगता है कि सुनते हुए बहुत सारे एस्पिरेंट्स के मन में भी आएगा कि क्या पर्सनालिटी को चेंज करा जा सकता है? आप जैसे बचपन में हो, अब आपको नहीं पता, आप कोचिंग लेने जा रहे हो, लेकिन क्या आप बड़े
There are certain aspects of your personality which you can change, and there are certain aspects which are not possible for a candidate to change. Like for example, a person is not so intelligent, brain-wise is not very sharp, is not very good on his uptake. So this is something which is not possible for him to change because it is something which is already in his DNA. But determination, initiative, speed of decision making. So these are the things which a person can change by changing his lifestyle, following a strict, daily routine, staying in the company of nice people, developing good hobbies and interests. So all these aspects will change, a lot in your personality. But there are few things which are not possible for an individual to change because that is genetically my, constitution is.
Okay, so sir, SSB पे आते हैं, अपने SSB के प्रोसेस को जानते हैं, स्क्रीनिंग प्रोसेस से GTO तक सब कुछ जाएंगे. Basically, first question is screening process a matter of luck, and if not, so what is the piece of advice that you would like to give to candidates who keep on failing in their screening process?
Priyanshu, let's first understand why this screening process is there. The screening process is primarily devised to weed out those candidates, वो बच्चे जिनके बारे में हमें लगता है कि इनका recommendation just not possible. It is not possible for them to get recommended. So there is no spark in them. There is no indication which gives us a feeling that this candidate will get recommended with us. So there is no point in wasting our 5 days with him or his 5 days with us, because we are pretty clear on the day one itself that this candidate will not be able to make a grade with us. So basically what we are checking in screening process is, does this candidate have some spark in him? So first thing which is checked is your IQ level. Basically you need to have at least acceptable IQ level, intelligence level to perform well in the subsequent tests which are going to be conducted in the SSB. So अगर IQ level ही poor है तो ये pretty clear है हमको कि ये बंदा हमारे साथ recommend नहीं हो सकता. And that is why the first test which we give to the candidate in SSB is OIR test, Officer's Intelligence Rating Test, which is a test of verbal and non-verbal reasoning, primarily to check his IQ level. Once it is clear that this candidate has acceptable IQ, the next thing is his ability to observe and perceive things correctly. Whatever we are showing him, is he able to observe it correctly and perceive it logically, or he is finding it difficult to even observe things correctly? So his observation skills, his perception, these are the things which are going to be checked. And after that, the next thing which is very important is his ability to share his ideas with others. Can he put across his ideas in front of others with absolute clarity, or he finds it difficult to share his ideas? So these are the few things which are very important, and that is why I advise my students, and even I would advise the young defense aspirants, that as much as you work on your communication skills, that is what is going to help you tremendously. Not only you should be able to speak with fluently, but at the same time your body language, your manners, your mannerisms, your facial expressions, your postures and gestures also have to be impeccable and impressive. When you speak in SSB or when you narrate your story in the SSB, the 3 assessors who are sitting there, they are just observing you minutely, right? Are you confident? Is your story coming out from within, or are you trying to impress them, or are you trying to project yourself as someone else which you are actually not? How genuine are you in narrating your story? How confident are you in narrating your story? And are you stress-free, relaxed and confident, or are you feeling so much load on your head because of which you are sulking? And these are the few things which a candidate needs to remember. First is his OR level has to be good. Second is his ability to observe the picture correctly and perceive it logically has to be there. And third is, whatever story he has been, it has to be original. It has to be, his story rather than a preconceived story. Because majority of the candidates who go out, get screened out, are the ones who come with preloaded ideas in their mind. And they try to fit in one of those ideas into the picture which has been shown to them. And then weave a story. And this is where majority of them go wrong. You need to develop that capacity. You need to develop that confidence that whichever picture is going to be shown to me, no problems. I will be able to weave a very, very realistic and a practical story. And then I will narrate that story with absolute clarity and ease to others. And that is what matters.
Okay. Sir, इसी आपकी इन्हीं बातों से मेरे को कुछ 2-4 और क्वेश्चंस हैं जो निकलते हैं. सबसे पहला तो ये निकलता है कि जो जीडी में आता है, अब फिश मार्केट बनता है, ऑब्वियसली रिपीटर्स का बैच होगा, तो देयर इज गोइंग टू बी अ वेरी हेवी फिश मार्केट, आई वुड से. वहाँ पे उस सिचुएशन में कैसे टैकल किया जाए?
See, first of all, we need to understand, जब group discussion चल रहा है, तो what exactly the GTO is looking for? First is, he is looking for your participation. Your participation has to be active. The name of the activity is discussion. If you are just not there in the discussion, definitely nobody is going to give you the credit of being there. The first is your participation. Now the question comes, what you have asked just now to me, कि अगर सर ये फिश मार्केट बन जाता है तो क्या करना चाहिए? मैं आपसे प्रश्न पूछता हूं ऐसी परिस्थिति में in this situation what are the options available with you? The first option is that everybody is shouting, so you also joined the bandwagon and started shouting. So definitely this is not the good thing because they are creating ruckus, so you are also joining them in doing that. Second is you withdrew and became absolutely quiet. It means you are out from the discussion. Neither you have any content to share, nor there is any participation, nor there any impact on everyone, neither your expression is clear. So you will definitely fade away. But the third and the best option available with you is, even if nobody is listening to me, so what? There are few receptive people in the group. I will look at them and address them and remain calm and composed and keep giving my points. Even if my fellow mates are not listening to me, so what? Assessor is definitely listening to you. Because after all, he has to do the assessment. He is looking at each and every candidate and observing them minutely. So do not withdraw, do not become louder, do not join the bandwagon of those who are creating ruckus. It's better that you remain calm and composed and keep giving your points to those people who are at least paying attention to what you're speaking.
And sir, एक और अगला क्वेश्चन जो है, what role does English plays?
English plays a very important role, right? English plays a very important role. After all, you have come here to become a commissioned officer. It is expected that you will be able to share your ideas with others in English language. That is why before the task starts, the GTO briefs you and he says the language to be used here is English, because the medium of instruction is going to be English in your training academy. So you have to have command over English, right? So that is a myth that you can perform well even by speaking Hindi. That is, of course, Hindi is of course our mother tongue. We all have a lot of love for Hindi. But at the same time, when it comes to SSB, command over English language if you have, definitely this helps you tremendously.
So that's it. I suppose screening process के लिए मुझे लगता है अगर किसी ने इतनी सी चीजें
See, screening process के लिए first of all, a candidate needs to prepare well for his OIR test. In OIR, what matters is your speed and accuracy. And speed and accuracy builds up with practice. There is no other shortcut to that. Next is working upon your communication skills, right? You should be able to speak fluently with clarity and make yourself understood to others. The third thing is your ability to observe things correctly. Right? Do not over-assume things, do not under-assume things. Observe things a little more objectively, a little more logically. So that during the discussion, when you are justifying your story, you can put across your point in a logical fashion and make others agree with your point because you have a strong logic behind what you have perceived. Right? Otherwise, you will appear wishful, hypothetical, rigid and stubborn. So you need to perceive the picture a little more objectively, little more logically. And then weave a story which is your story, not the preconceived stories. Do not try to stuff in unnecessary, social causes into it or stuff in, unless otherwise it is pretty clear that this is something, a social activity which is happening, something is happening, to improve the level of, to improve the, lifestyle of people. Unless otherwise the picture clearly depicts this sort of a thing, there is no need for you to stuff in unnecessarily something which is not relevant to the picture which was shown to you, right? So make a story which is natural, realistic and relatable with picture. So see what happens. जब मैं आपकी कहानी सुनूं, तो जो picture मेरे दिमाग में आए, वो लगभग वही होनी चाहिए जो दिखाई गई थी. That is how you need to weave a story. That is because this is a test of your observation and perception. There is no need for you to use your imagination and extrapolate the story to a different level. The connect between the picture and the story has to be strong. So meat of your story should be talking about the action that is happening in the picture rather than describing the picture. Instead of describing the picture, you describe the action that is happening in the picture. A little bit about what was happening before, a little bit about what will happen next, but major chunk of the story should be describing the action that is happening in the picture. And this, the action that is happening in the picture has to be realistic the way things happen around us in our day-to-day life. That is what is expected.
So, itna kar liya to screening.
Obviously. See, another thing what I want to tell you. The SSB gives advantage to the candidate. Even if a candidate is a doubtful case, the benefit of doubt goes to the candidate rather than the SSB. Right? But in the conference on the last day, the organization's interests are more important than candidate's interest. Why? Because in the screening process, we are only giving an opportunity to this candidate to appear for the SSB, complete SSB procedures. We are not selecting him, we are not recommending him. So even if the candidate is a doubtful case, we will still give him a chance and get him screened in. Unless otherwise the candidate, clearly proves it, he doesn't have any chance of getting recommended with us, then only he will be screened out. And the majority of the people who get screened out are because of these reasons. Preconceived ideas, preconceived notions, story not relatable with picture, poor IQ level because of poor performance in OI test, poor observation skills, right? Wishful assumptions.
सर एक और चीज़, ये जो फ्रेशर बोलते हैं, फ्रेशर के लिए गोल्डन अपॉर्चुनिटी बोलते हैं, क्या ये बात सच है?
ऐसा नहीं है, it purely depends upon your performance. Okay. If as a fresher you're not performing, you will get screened out. Yeah, as a repeater, if you're performing well, you will get screened in. There are many people who have attended 13, 14 conferences. They were never screened out, right? 13 attempts, all 13 conferences. It means being a repeater also did not, hamper their prospects of getting screened in. That is no criteria. It's all performance based. Whatever you are demonstrating me, I will assess you as per that. I will not go at your background. Ki aap repeater ho, aap fresher ho. No, there is no such criteria.
Okay. So sir, talking about the second stage of the SSB, that is talking about your area of interest, the GTO task.
Okay.
So sir, सबसे पहली चीज तो ऐसे कौन से टास्क होते हैं जो बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट होता है एक कैंडिडेट के लिए, मतलब उसमें उसको अच्छे से परफॉर्म करना होता है ताकि he is standard out by other candidates.
See, first of all, हमें ये समझना होगा कि what exactly the GTO is looking for, right? When he is making you part of the group, what is a group? Group is nothing but a collection of individuals where everyone has the same goals and objectives, and everybody knows that individually he cannot accomplish the group goals unless otherwise they cooperate well with each other, hold each other's hand. Together they can achieve a lot, but individually they cannot achieve anything. So this belief also has to be there in each and every candidate. First thing. Second thing is what the GTO is looking for. As I said, he is looking for one thing. Tomorrow if I make you part of any team or I make you part of the organization, the Airforce, Army or Navy, will you be an asset there or will you become a liability, a burden or a baggage for me? Now, this is what we call as effectiveness of a candidate as a member of a team. And the most important aspect, what GTO is looking for, when you're functioning alongside your group mates, is your adaptability, your adjustment with other members of the group, right? Your group-mindedness. It means you need to carry that attitude where you believe that together we can achieve a lot and individually I'm nothing. And this belief in you has to be so strong where you are ready to sacrifice your personal interest in the broader interest of your team. If this attitude is not there, you may do exceptionally well in all the tasks. You are a useless candidate as far as the GTO is concerned. First is your attitude, your group-mindedness. You need to be a good team man, where your team is more important to you than your personal interest. You should not be a person who is looking for a limelight or trying to seek attention. That is not the kind of person we are looking for. We want people who are selflessly working without any ulterior motive to make their group progress and complete the task. This is first thing which is seen. Second thing which is seen by the GTO is when you are part of the group, is your presence binding the group together? Are you able to maintain good interpersonal relations? Are you able to take everyone along? Are you accommodative and very friendly by nature? Or are you one person who is aloofish, indifferent and generally carrying high ego? Your adjustment with the group should be such that you are able to take everyone along. You have to be a binding factor, a gelling factor in the group. That is the way you need to function. And the third thing which is seen by the GTO is your consistency. No team can afford to have inconsistent people aboard, right? If you want to be a trustworthy person, if you want to be a reliable person, the first thing is you need to be consistent. Because when the team wants you the most, you are missing. But when the team doesn't want you, you are always there. So that is not the kind of people we are looking for. We want people who can consistently participate and contribute significantly without any ulterior motive, without any reward-seeking tendencies. These are the few things which are very vividly seen by the GTO while he is observing your performance in the different tasks. Now the next question comes, कि what are the tasks which you ask? कि सर कौन से task हैं जो बहुत important हैं, कौन से नहीं important हैं? सारे ही task important हैं. Let me tell you, starting from group discussion till FGT, all the tasks are important. That is why they are there. But because the GTO is checking your suitability as a member of a team, so all those tasks in which you work as a member of the group, they become little more important, right? So as we all know, the GTO's 9 tasks are divided in 3 series. The first series is called basic series tasks, in which there are 4 tasks. The group discussion, followed by group planning exercise, followed by progressive group tasks and group obstacle race. These are called basic series tasks, and in these tasks, all your group mates are performing together. These are group tasks, right? After this, the next set of tasks are called confirmatory series tasks, in which the first task is your half group task, followed by lecturate, followed by individual obstacles, and then command task. And the last task, that is called final group task, is called final series task. So the entire battery of group task has been divided in 3 parts: basic series, confirmatory series, and then final series task. Now, because the GTO is checking your adaptability in a group, your functioning as a member of the group, your by bonding with other members of the group, your ability to take everyone along. So obviously, the basic series tasks become the foundation. You have to perform well in the basic series task in order to stay in the race ahead of others to get recommended. So the basic series, if you are not participating in group discussion, if you are not able to make a good plan and share your plan with others in a absolute clear manner in group planning exercise, in progressive group task, if your participation is low, you are aloofish, indifferent, standing on the fringes and observing things from there, right? If you are this kind of a person, then definitely, even if you individually have exceptional qualities, you cannot be taken as a person who is going to be an asset for the group. If you are made a part of, जिस ग्रुप का अगर मैं आपको भाग बनाऊं, उसके लिए आप एसेट सिद्ध नहीं हो सकते. क्यों? क्योंकि जब आप ग्रुप के साथ थे, तो आपका performance levels were very low. But individually you are performing well. So I cannot give you the credit of being a highly, effective individual in a group. So you need to perform well in the basic series task, and then later on in the confirmatory series also, your performance has to remain consistent and up to the mark. So there is no question of saying that this task is less important, this task is more important. Everything is dovetailed. Starting with your basic series task, you have to perform well, and then in the half group task as well as in your subsequent confirmatory series task, you have to perform well. And because consistency is being seen vividly by the GTO, so in the final group task also, you have to be there. You should be seen throughout. Yes. See, for example, if you are watching a football match, after seeing the match for about 15-20 minutes, you can make out, this team mein yaar ye do khiladi bahut zabardast khela, jaan laga rakhi hai unhone. Right? Same is the case here. The GTO is giving you leaderless task. He is not assigning any specific role to any individual. He says, all of you are at par with each other. Everyone has the same say and same opportunity. And start now. In this scenario, every individual will select a role for himself. What role you choose for yourself is a clear indication of the mindset and the faith which you have in your own abilities. If you have adequate insight, you know what you are capable of, and you know you can contribute significantly, and you are having that drive and willingness also to contribute, definitely you will not be choosing the role of a passenger or a follower. You will always be occupying the driver's seat and leading from the front, right? So this is what is being seen by the GTO. He is just leaving you free to do whatever you feel like doing, and keep observing your behavioral manifestations. The way you do things, the way you position yourself in the group, the way you deal with other people in the group, the way you participate, the way you contribute, right? You should always be seen in the core of the group activity where the action is happening. Maybe in a helper's role if you're not getting the opportunity, or maybe in a leader's role. But then you have to be on the center stage. It cannot happen that you're standing on the fringes and margins and expecting that GTO will rate you as a highly effective individual in this team.
You just have to make your presence felt.
Not presence felt. Your contributions, your actions should speak about yourself. Don't have to show that you're present there. There is no need for you to do show off.
Okay.
Because GTO's experience enough to pick up things. Is he trying to impress me? Is he trying to show off? Is he trying to dominate? Or is he genuinely interested in making his group progress? Because your body language, your facial expressions, your posture, your gesture is more important to me than what you are doing on the ground. Because whatever you are doing at the tangible level is perhaps something which you have learned from somewhere. But आपकी जो वो काम करने के पीछे की मंशा है, जो इंटेंशन है, वो आपके चेहरे के भाव बता रहे हैं. वो आपके हाव भाव से मुझे पता चल रहा है कि are you trying to steal the limelight? Are you trying to impress me? Or are you genuinely interested in making your group progress, making your team win?
Okay.
So for GTO, what is important is He is paying more attention to every aspect which the candidate is not aware of. Candidate is only aware of what is doing at the tangible level. कि सर मैंने तो आइडिया भी दिए थे, मैंने तो इम्प्लीमेंट भी किए थे. सर आइडिया देने के पीछे जो आपकी मंशा थी वो आपके चेहरे पर नजर आ रही थी, आपकी आंखों में नजर आ रही थी, आपके पोस्चर में नजर आ रही थी, आपकी बॉडी लैंग्वेज में नजर आ रही थी. That is more important for the GTO because that is what is a clear reflection of your mindset, your mentality. Whatever you are doing is what you have learned from somewhere. That is of course important, but more important than that is the intent with which you are doing what you are doing.
So what if the group is, you don't have a good group then?
There is no question of having a good group or bad group. Everybody has come in the SSB to perform, right? So you must accept others the way they are, right? Now you have to use your own tact to pacify people, win their trust and faith, develop good bonding. If you are a well-meaning individual, right? If you are a well-meaning individual who is a very friendly by nature, a very clear-hearted person, you be part of any group, you will stand out. Let me tell you one thing. The dynamics within the group will happen in such a fashion that the genuine people will automatically, emerge as the leaders in the group. When the group is working together, that is why we say that these tasks are leaderless group tasks, and GTO is not likely to interfere or intervene. He will keep observing you because when the group starts working, there are a lot of social, pushes and pulls which start playing. There are a lot of stresses on your internal anxieties or performance anxiety you have. There is a stress coming from other group members. How you handle both these stresses, the external stress and the internal stress. And when the dynamics group within the group is such that everybody is trying to contribute their bit. In this scenario, a person who is cool-headed, a person who is genuinely interested in making his group progress, a person who is attitudinally good, a person who is friendly by nature, and a person who has adequate intelligence to analyze the context and contribute significantly will definitely emerge as the leader. So the journey within the group will happen in such a fashion कि वो विष अलग हो जाएगा और आपका जो है वो अमृत अलग हो जाएगा. And the technique, the design of the task is such. The GTO doesn't have to do anything. He has to just keep observing you. You yourself will give enough indication to the GTO key what exactly is the kind of person are you.
A GTO usually don't interfere in the PGT, right, sir?
See, GD, GPE, PGT, GOR, GTO is not supposed to interfere, right? Why is he not supposed to interfere? Because now your group is working, you are in a very dynamic environment. He would not like to disrupt this process. He would leave you free because after this, he is going to take you to the confirmatory series.
Okay.
So even if there is some doubt in my mind, I have confirmatory series to confirm these doubts. Right? For example, the GTO has a doubt that this candidate is not climbing up on any structure which is tall, but he's doing everything fairly okay when the structures are short.
Yes.
So GTO will give him a command task where the structures are going to be pretty tall, and he'll say, okay, commander, this is your task.
Okay.
You are the commander, right? And this is your task. Now here also I find that this candidate did not climb up on those tall structures. He made his helpers do everything.
Okay.
Because by now you know, in command task, the commander has the opportunity to ask for helpers. So he made everything, his helpers were doing. He was not climbing up on any tall structure. And my doubt got further confirmed in the individual obstacles, where this candidate avoided all the obstacles which are tall in height. So now my doubt is clear. This candidate clearly has a fear of height. Another scenario is, I got the traces when this candidate was performing in the initial first 4 tasks, that this candidate has a tendency to blame others for his own failures. Right? Whenever something goes wrong, he puts the blame on others. So in the command task, when this candidate was doing the command task, GTO asked him, "You okay, Commander साहब? आप क्यों नहीं ये task complete कर पा रहे हो? क्या idea आपको नहीं आ रहा है या आपके helpers आपको अच्छे से help नहीं कर रहे हैं?" Sir, it is my helpers who are not helping me. Now my doubt is confirmed that this candidate has a tendency to blame others in spite of the fact that I told him, Commander, this is your task. You are the commander, you are the boss. Still he passed the buck to his helpers. So this is what I mean when I say confirmatory series task.
So one question which comes to my mind is, as far as I have seen and observed, always I have seen a GTO wearing a sunglasses. Is there a specific reason behind it, or is just कि बस अच्छा दिखने के लिए होता है?
No, there is a specific reason behind it.
Okay.
So during the indoor task like group discussion and group planning exercise, GTO is not wearing the sunglasses. Why? Because after announcing the topic, the GTO goes behind the group and sits there. So his presence in the GD does not cause any kind of stress in the minds of the candidates. Alright, similarly in the second discussion again he goes and sits at another corner. So he is not sitting in front of the candidates and observing them. So his presence is not causing any kind of stress in the minds of the candidate because he is keeping his presence what we call in GTO's parlance as unobtrusive, unassuming, right? Similarly in the group planning exercise, after explaining the model, after reading out the narrative, when he gives the narrative to you to read, he will be just sitting there. But after that, when you are writing the solution, the GTO leaves the room or he sits behind the group. And during the discussion also, he will not be observing you from the front, he will go and sit at the back. However, in the outdoor task, the GTO is sitting there and observing the candidates. So, he would like to make his presence unassuming by wearing the goggles so that no candidate gets a feeling that GTO is looking at him. If a candidate gets a feeling that GTO was continuously looking at him, this may cause some kind of stress in the mind of the candidate and this will affect his performance, in an adverse manner. So in order to keep his presence unassuming, in order to keep his presence unobtrusive, what we call it, GTO wears these goggles. There is no other specific reason for it. Whom he is looking at, whether he is looking through the corner of his eyes, whether he is looking through this corner of his eyes, the candidate will not be able to know, right? So his presence does not cause any stress in the minds of the candidates. That is why he is wearing these goggles.
Sir, एक और क्वेश्चन ये है कि जब कमांड टास्क के लिए जाते हैं, GTO थोड़ी सी बातचीत करता है कैंडिडेट से. What is that? I mean, is there?
See, I'll tell you what. One thing you must remember: before the group testing starts, the GTO does some kind of a rapport building with the candidates. How are you? Where are you coming from? And he makes you relax. Basically, his idea is to make you relax and stress-free. Because now you are under the testing conditions. There is a lot of stress in your mind. So in order to remove that stress, he will do some rapport building, chit-chat with you. And then he will ask you to introduce yourself. When you are introducing yourself, everyone will give some information about them. Yeah, I am so-and-so, coming from so-and-so, I have done my graduation from so-and-so place, I play these games, I have participated at the national level or the national level. So GTO will keep a note of this information. Now, when the command task happens, your entire group is sitting inside the candidate's waiting room and GTO is calling you randomly one by one. Once you are called by the GTO, this is the first time in the entire battery of group tasks that you are interacting with GTO on one-to-one basis. In all of the tasks which you have done so far, your group mates were around you. But this is the first time you are interacting with the GTO on one-to-one basis, and this may cause some stress in your mind. This may cause some kind of anxieties in your mind. In order to remove those anxieties, GTO will take your dhyan away from the task into your comfort zone. Okay, Puneet, you are coming from Dehradun, very nice. And you play badminton, yesterday you mentioned. Yes sir, I play badminton. So basically, those anxieties which are there in your mind, they are going to be removed by the GTO by taking you into your comfort zone before he shows you your task. And this chit chat is mandatory. This is what we call as de-tensing the candidate, basically making the candidate relax and then do the task.
Okay, sir, अगला क्वेश्चन जो बनता है ये कि a person is called n number of times in the command task. So what role does it play?
It plays a very important role. See, there are certain things which are happening in front of my eyes which I am observing. There are certain things which are happening behind my eyes. Like in your candidate mess, you are staying together, you are mingling with each other together, going for dinner together, going for evening walk together, going for outing together. There, the kind of seeds which you are sowing, you are reaping the benefits of that now. It means, it gives me an idea. As it is, I was finding you are a very good human being, who's liked by everyone. Your adaptability in the group is very good. You maintain good interpersonal relations. You are empathetic towards others. You care for others' sentiments and emotions also. But this observation of mine is getting, confirmed when I see majority of the people have called you as their helper. It means your popularity within the group is high. People trust you. Everybody wants you to be part of their team. Right? There are few people who will not be called by anyone. There are only two reasons for that. Either you are too good, others are feeling jealous about it, or you are one person who appears to others as a game spoiler. So nobody would like to call you as a helper.
Okay.
But then the people who are genuinely good, the people who have won the trust and faith of others will definitely be called more. This is a general tendency. But this is not the absolute thing. This is one of the inputs which GTO takes cognizance of.
Okay. Last but not the least, the question is, should a candidate prepare before going to SSB, or should he go naturally, just unprepared?
See, I would advise either the candidate is exceptionally brilliant or ready-made recommendable material, right? Then of course, even if he goes through the social media, gets to know the procedures well, what is little expected in the SSB, how the assessment is going to happen, he will be able to get recommended. There are other category of people who, in spite of getting coached, heavily coached, repeatedly coached, they are not likely to make it because they are not working on those aspects which are essentially required for them to improve upon, right? So they are ignoring those facts and doing rectification, SSB after SSB. So they are definitely not going to make it. But there are people who learn from their mistakes, right? Such people definitely get benefited by this training curriculum. At least they should know what the assessor is looking for, what are the commonly committed mistakes by the candidates are, how he should conduct himself, what is the expectation of the SSB, what is the underlying logic behind these procedures, right? And after that, he should decide on his own what his strategy is going to be. He needs to retain his uniqueness. He needs to retain his originality. He needs to have freshness in his responses, which are giving a clear indication to the assessors that this fellow is confident. He's presenting himself rather than projecting himself as someone else, which is actually not. So such people definitely benefit a lot. There are candidates who have come to me. One was having 17th attempt. When he came here, he said, now I am realizing where I was going wrong. Everything, whatever I was doing in the SSB was something which I have learned from different sources. There was no uniqueness in my responses. There was no originality in my responses. There was no genuineness in my responses. This time I said, I have nothing to lose, but I will do things the way things are coming into my mind. I will use my own intelligence. I will use my own way of doing things. And see the result I got recommended. This fellow is already a captain in the army right now. So you have to have faith. सुनो यार, अगर आप ही को अपने पे भरोसा नहीं है, or you are cutting things from somewhere and pasting it here because you do not have trust and faith in your own abilities, how do you expect others that they will trust you and have faith in you? So first and foremost thing is you need to have self-belief. You have to have faith in your own abilities, and if you feel that you are lacking somewhere, then work upon it. Improve those grey areas of yours which you have noticed. So do some introspection. Ask your near ones and dear ones. Ask your well-wishers. They will be able to tell you a lot of things which you need to improve in yourself.
Sir, a last question, but a very important one I would say. Sir, what is your piece of advice for all those defense aspirants who are preparing for their written exam or their SSB?
See, as far as the written examination is concerned, I think I won't be able to comment on that. But regarding SSB, I have one advice for the aspirants. The first thing is, you need to develop faith in your own abilities. You need to work upon your personality. SSB is a test of your personality. We would like to see what exactly is your thought process is. What exactly is the way you do things. What exactly is the way you mingle around with others. What exactly is the way you reply back to people who ask you questions. So there is a need for you to retain your originality, retain your uniqueness in your responses and reactions. And that will only happen when you develop faith in your own abilities rather than looking for some kind of tricks or some kind of shortcut. So there is no shortcut available. You have to work on your personality. And how do you work on your personality? First is by having faith in your own abilities. Second is by following strict routine, daily routine. Make a routine and follow that routine. Develop good habits, right? Learn few new things, right? Creative hobbies develop कीजिए. उन hobbies को pursue कीजिए passionately, right? Second thing is work upon your communication skills and develop that friendly attitude. You should be one person who is more comfortable in the company of other people rather than being a loner and aloofish individual, right? All these things, if we work upon, will definitely help you tremendously in improving your performance. If you are a well-read individual who has faith in his own abilities, you are aware of what is happening in the world around you, right? You can communicate well, your ideas are original and unique, definitely This is what is expected from you in the SSB. Rather than looking for some shortcut, looking for some tricks or getting tips from people who got recommended earlier, that is what is not going to help you. We are checking your personality. What exactly is the kind of person you are? Are you a person who is going to be an asset tomorrow for our organization? Or are you going to be a person who will become a liability for us? So have faith in your own abilities, develop good hobbies, improve your awareness levels, work upon your communication skills, and that is how you prepare well for the SSB. This is my sincerest advice to all the defense aspirants who are aspiring to be officer one day.
So thank you so much for this session, I would say, and मुझे लगता है सारे के सारे डिफेंस एस्पिरेंट्स को बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला होगा इससे. एंड सो दैट्स इट गाइस, दैट्स इट फ्रॉम अस, एंड मिलते हैं जल्दी ही अगले एपिसोड में.
Thank you, Priyanshu. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interact with our viewers, and I'm highly obliged. Thank you very much.